Welcome everybody to Sooty FM. Welcome to our Sooty FM Family Mr. and Mrs. show. We've got a fun-filled show ready for you today. Just got the poster up on the screen for you just so you can have a look at what we're going to go through tonight. We've got a real-life listener story. So we're going to share a story from one of our dedicated Sooty FM listeners, a real-life story to share and basically come out to you for your thoughts and suggestions to help our Mr. X with his story and his situation. Then we're going to go into a customer call-in. We've got a few couples lined up, but if you'd like to come on the show as well, we're doing our very first customer call-in today. Get in touch and we can send you a link to come live on the show and share your stories and top tips about what you think makes a successful and happy and healthy relationship / marriage. And then the final segment, we're going to go into our very own Mr. and Mrs. Sooty live game show. So that's going to be interesting and very fun. So let's remove the flyer. After evening, everyone. Hope you're well.
Hi.
Big shout out to everyone who's locked in across all the different platforms. We've got people on Sooty FM. We've got people on the brand new YouTube channel as well. So just to say a few hellos just while people are gathering in. Not long now. Galimera from Adelaide, my lovelies. Have a great night. Welcome, Stella. Hope you're well. Happy Australia Day to you and all our Sooty FM listeners out in Australia as well. Hope you had a great day celebrating today. Yasu Maria Vanilles, welcome to the show. Hi to you and to Lucia. Welcome to Gulla as well. Welcome to the show, ladies. There we go, there's Lucia. And welcome to Irene as well. We've got lots more of you tuning in as we kick off the show. Welcome, Yoda. Welcome to the show. As always, our brand new talk show. Get your if you've got any questions throughout the show for either us or for this first segment, we're going to be discussing a listener story. Please get your thoughts and comments in the comments on the platform that you're listening in on. And later on, we go to our couples for our customer or live listener call-in. Again, if you've got any questions for our couples that are on screen, then please feel free to get your comments in and we'll ask the questions to some other couples other than just me and Blondie. So you want to say hi, Blondie?
Hi, guys. Andrea's just joined. Hi, Andrea.
Welcome, everybody, to the show. Welcome, Georgina, as well. Welcome to the party. Well, not quite a party, the discussion, I suppose, today. And you'll have to excuse the dark, well, it's kind of mood lighting, I suppose. As you know, we're going through the process of upgrading and tidying up our studio. So the walls have now been plasterboarded. As you can see, the treadmill is covered while we get ready for plastering and painting. So the light still needs to be moved, so we've got a bit more light. So bear with us. We're a bit in the shadows today, but you'll have to bear with us.
Can you hear us? All right, guys. Can we do sound check? Hi, Panayoti.
That's it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Penny, as well. We are going to kick off the show in. I'll give you another 5 minutes or so. So before we do that, how's everyone feeling? It's Tuesday, another week. We're coming up to the end of January, another month of lockdown. How are we all feeling out there before we start talking relationships and love stories and all that fun stuff? Get your comments in, and we will get through them during the show. So I'm just going to bring up here we go, my listener story ready as well. Welcome, Dora. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I think sound check's all right. I'm getting a lot of thumbs up.
That's it. Good. So we're sounding nice and clear. That's good. Welcome, Anna. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Anna.
Hope you're enjoying the day wherever you are. Hope you've got the music going on. Just a quick reminder, our show on Tuesday isn't a party show. We've had this every week now on a Tuesday where people celebrating their birthday coming on and asking for dedications or requests on the Tuesday show. But our Tuesday show is very much a talk show and we save the music and the partying
for
Fridays. So big shout out to you, Anna. Please join us again on Friday. We can definitely get you a shout out and a request for your birthday as well. But today we're going to be talking about relationships, marriages, and top tips for how to keep them strong and keep them going, especially given what we've all been going through for the last year or so with lockdown and everything else. So hopefully we've got some top tips coming your way, and who knows, even we might take away a few tips to make sure Sooty FM stays together. That's it. Welcome to Rika. Welcome to the show. You're welcome, Anna. I hope you have a lovely day. There you go. Look, even the Sooty FM family getting involved as well and saying happy birthday. Right, so Maria and Lucia can hear us nice and clear as well. So just to give you a bit of a timeline for tonight's show, we're going to kick off in just a minute with tonight's first section. We're going to go through a customer story. I keep saying customer. I'm used to saying customer. A listener story. And we'll do that for about half an hour, 40 minutes. So around about 7:45, we will kick off our listener call-in show. So we've got, like I say, 3 or 4 couples already lined up to come on screen and share their stories and, you know, how long they've been together, how long they've been married, and share their top tips. I've also had some messages throughout the week as well, on the weekend, from people that are a bit too shy to come on screen but want to share their comments and their thoughts as well. So we'll go through those, and when we get to that section, by all means, any of you other happily married couples, get your comments in as well and share your thoughts and your top tips too.
But guys, before we start with the listener's story, he desperately wants your advice. So if you listen to the story and you have some advice or some thoughts on the matter, please comment so that we can help him out, because, you know, there's only 2 of us here where there's hundreds of you that can help him.
That's it. Welcome to Iqbal as well. We will have Iqbal and Mary on the show a little bit later on. So welcome to the show. Welcome to Nikki as well. So I'm going to kick off the first section. Mr. X is looking for some help, some suggestions from the Sooty FM family. And as Blondie just said, it's not just us. We're no experts. We're not marriage counsellors. We are no experts by all means, but we will share some of our thoughts and experiences, and we're hoping that you will do that as well to hopefully help Mr. X with his dilemma. So Mr. X, he asked his friend, they've been friends for nearly 2 years, if she knew anyone that was looking to meet someone or that might be interested in him. So kind of approaching a friend, you know, single, looking to meet somebody, to find love. And the friend said, yeah, I know a girl. I can introduce to her. She's actually my flatmate. We live together. And so just before Christmas, middle of November, they arranged to meet up. They got together at the friend's house, a mutual friend's house, and they got on pretty well. They exchanged phone numbers, kind of, you know, first social interaction, got on pretty well. And a week or so later, Mr. X and this girl went on their first date. Had a nice time, got on really well. Things started to flow quite well. Christmas and New Year's just gone. They passed. And then things seem to have changed from the 3rd of January. So kickstart of the new year, and things seem to change. They were meant to meet up on the 3rd, but the girlfriend wasn't feeling too well. So they cancelled and said they'd rearrange. Then what happened? Then Mr. X's friend who set them up called just to say that she, you know, was he with the girlfriend? And I'm trying to be anonymous here. I'm not trying to give away any names as requested by Mr. X. So the friend called up to say if he was with the girlfriend, and he said no, she wasn't feeling too well. So they were meant to meet up, but they called it off for tonight, and we're going to rearrange. And the friend said, oh, that's interesting. I've just seen her with her sister walking down the Finneguis, which kind of gives it away that our Mr. X lives out in Cyprus. A week or a few days later, Mr. X was working late till about 8:30. And as some of you may know, in Cyprus, they've got the curfew of around 9 o'clock, or is it 9, 10 o'clock? Everyone needs to be home due to their COVID rules and restrictions. And as he got home, he got a phone call from his friend. And again, she asked if she'd seen the girlfriend. He said, nope, haven't seen or heard from her, been at work all day, I've literally just got home. And the friend said that the girlfriend had come home. Remember, they're flatmates. She came in, grabbed a couple of bits, and then stormed out. And she told the friend that she was going to go out. And this was at around 8:20, so 40 minutes before the curfew of 9 o'clock. So there you go, it's 9 o'clock that the curfew is in Cyprus. And the girlfriend stayed out that night. So nobody knew where she was, nobody knew where she went. Mr. X texted her, called the girlfriend to see where she was, but there was no answer. And that continued through the night. The next morning, the girlfriend replied, apologising for not answering. And they met up the next day. So this is on the 7th of January. They met up and they were just chit-chatting. Now, obviously, whilst this is going on, I suppose on the evening of the 6th, the friend and Mr. X were, I suppose, exchanging messages around, the girlfriend's, I suppose, behaviour or how she was acting and being a bit, standoffish, etc. And Mr. X wanting to be, upfront and honest with the girlfriend and, not wanting to hide anything and everything else, he showed the girlfriend the messages and lots of voice recordings from his friend from the night before and what she was saying about the girlfriend, how she was acting really weird and being strange, and something suspicious was going on with the girlfriend, which Mr. X didn't like, which is why he wanted to kind of, I suppose, put it out there to the girlfriend and just kind of find that he felt it was a bit of in the middle.
Well, he was addressing the subject that his friend said that she was behaving strange too. So it wasn't just him that was thinking that way. So that's what he was doing. He was just speaking to his girlfriend and just addressing the fact that both of them felt this way, and her behaviour wasn't, I guess, normal. Yeah.
So it was a little bit more. So on the 9th of January, the friend found out about Mr. X showing the messages to the flatmate, which I think is kind of inevitable that was going to happen since they lived together. And she called up Mr. X and she had a right go at him and said, I trusted you. You shouldn't have done that. Don't ever bother me again. I don't want to ever hear from you again. And since then, Mr. X and his friend, who, like we said, have been friends for a good couple of years, they haven't spoken since. And so he has lost a friend and the girlfriend. He's spoken to the girlfriend since, and she has said that she needs a bit of time and that she needs to think about what's happened. And that she would be in touch soon, but he hasn't heard from her since. Now, obviously, we're coming to the end of January. So some of you may have been through similar situations in your love lives over the years. But what Mr. X is really looking for is,
how does he avoid this situation in the future?
Yeah, how does he avoid it in the future? He's looking for someone that can love him for him. He's admittedly said that he doesn't have a lot of money. He's not one of those rich, wealthy guys, and he feels that when women hear that you don't have a lot of money, it's a bit of a turn off, and he thinks that might be one of the reasons why he's struggling to find the right or Mrs. Right. And he wants to know, what's he doing wrong? The longest relationship he's had is about 3.5 years. But whenever he gets close to someone, it seems to blow up in his face. And that's what he's trying to avoid. He's trying to get past that kind of first 3 to 6 months or so. Some of his friends have said to him that, look, maybe the right one hasn't come along yet. So, maybe you're getting attached to some of these girls maybe a bit too quickly and thinking that they're Mrs. Right too soon. So we're going to come to some of the comments or some of your thoughts first of all, just to see if you've got any thoughts. Now, Andrea's got a few comments on here, which is great. Thank you, Andrea. She said, tell Mr. X to count his blessings that it happened so early on. And I think that's fair enough, because, the last thing you want to do is,
go a few months down the line, and
or even a couple of years time, and then things turn a bit awkward or what have you. So yeah, I suppose that's the first point. Again, Mr. X is trying to avoid this happening, whether it's early on or, at some point in the future. So,
I mean, this one, she's put it's an awkward position for the friend who set them up. And it really is. It is an awkward position for someone that has set them up, especially with the whole, are you with her? And she's not there and she's doing whatever. I mean, she might just genuinely be somewhere else, but it does put her in an awkward position as the friend that set them up.
Yeah, totally agree. But I suppose at the same point, the friend, you know, not
she
put
took
herself.
that,
Yeah, she took that on
board
by
when
saying,
she did it. I mean, when you do that, you kind of say, okay, well, I'm introducing you to this person, but yeah, you do put yourself in that kind of position.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm just checking a couple of messages that are coming through as well.
I'll go to the next one that Andrea said, and there is more coming through. So hang on. Andrea said, he shouldn't have portrayed the friend as the girlfriend was early on and friends are longer. And this one I totally agree with Andrea. I don't think he should have told her what the friend was saying. He should have just voiced his concerns without showing proof. But I guess he just didn't want any hidden secrets, so he shared it. But I think personally, if that was me, I wouldn't have shared my friend's details. I wouldn't go against my friend. If I knew my friend was true, I definitely wouldn't have gone against them. Yeah,
and it ties in with the next point that Andrew says, you know, firstly, friends come first, stay loyal and true. And that's the point I think I've made to Mr. X when we spoke and we went through kind of the scenario. Just explained to him that whilst you like the girl, you know, initially, and you know it's early on or whatever, it's the friend obviously who's introduced you. You've got a long-standing relationship, you know, a good couple of years of a friendship, and we all know how hard it is, you know, to make good friends. So,
and I don't think the friend was doing anything wrong. I think she was just honestly concerned for the situation. I've had friends tell me things before that they might not necessarily want to say, but they've said things just because they don't want me to find out from other people in the past I'm talking about. But you know, friends, they're hard to come by, and I think if you truly trust your friend and you know them well enough, then okay, listen. But then there is the other part of some friends like to stir and they're not actually friends, so it's kind of a hard one to judge on the friend situation, I guess. So just to, I suppose, put a bit more perspective, because somebody has said, there we go. So Maria has said maybe Mr. X's friend likes him. So just to put it into context in terms of ages, so Mr. X is going to be 45 this year, and the friend who introduced him to the girlfriend is in her 70s. So, you know, we've all got that friend, you know, other person we might look at as a mother or an auntie or something like that. So, and again, when I had this conversation, when I spoke to Mr. X about the whole situation, he assured me that wasn't the case. Again, mainly because of the age gap, but also just it was more of a mutual respect friendship that they had. So I'm just going to come back to Andrew's sort of final comment before we read some of the others out. She says, secondly, relationships take time and communication. You need to establish what you both want from the start. And I agree, do not fall so quickly. Love feelings should grow, not be forced. And I think it's a fair point. Sometimes, though, you can't help it. You fall for them instantly. It's not. Yeah. There is love. I'm a true believer in love at first sight, or the love goggles that you put on and you ignore certain things. I'm definitely one on that seat, I guess.
Yeah.
They show you so much, and you have such a connection and a bond with someone that I think that.
Yeah, and I think. The heart wants what the heart wants. And, it could be that Mr. X, I say, he's been through this scenario a few times now where he's met somebody and it's got to, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then things just automatically change. And he, again, self-admittedly said that he does kind of, I suppose, get excited quickly in the sense of, starts maybe falling or, really seeing a future with this person really quickly. And, and again, for some people, like you say, if they're not at that stage at the same time, that can be off-putting.
It can be scary.
It can be scary. That's probably the better word. It
can be scary that if someone's a bit too much like, oh, we're going to get married or we're going to do this, it can be really frightening. I think take it day by day and just just slowly see where the future holds. I mean,
loads of comments.
You can never know how long you're going to be with someone.
And that's it. And there's no official, you have to be together this long before you can say you love them, or before you fall in love. You might fall in love at first sight. You might fall in love after a week or a month, or it might take you a whole year to know that you truly love somebody. So everyone's different.
But you also don't need to say it straight away. If you don't I think keep some things reserved for yourself.
Yeah. So Nikki says to always be himself. It's not about money or what you have or what you wear. Count yourself lucky you got out of this relationship quick, as it didn't sound healthy. So again, Mr. X, if you are listening, which I believe you are, it's about taking
agree on the money part.
Yeah, it's not about the money, and naturally you'll find somebody that takes you for you and takes you for your situation. So obviously, if there are girls out there that you're meeting that are all about the money, then naturally they're not going to stick around for long once they realise.
You won't be a team if it is like that.
Yeah.
You both got to work together and
yeah. So Irene says, I think it's better to find someone on your own. I don't agree or disagree with this. So that's a fair point. It's I suppose from my point of view, it's whatever works. So if you're either struggling to find somebody, again, kind of ignore lockdown when we can't go out and meet people and socialise and everything. As I know Cyprus is a little bit different. They can kind of go out but have to be home by 9 o'clock. So maybe there is opportunity to still meet and mingle. But maybe this person's tried, or maybe they're a bit shy. And so sometimes, an introduction
helps. Yeah, I mean, I set up one of my friends who was really scared. She's a lovely girl. I mean, she's actually married to the guy and got 2 children with him now, but she was frightened to tell him how she felt, and I set them up 15 years ago.
Yeah, so it's, again, if it works, and again, it's got to be the right introduction, that the person, I suppose the friend that's introducing the 2 people, I suppose needs to know both people quite well, because as Blondie said, she did it, but she introduced her friend to another friend. Yeah. So she knew them both quite well and thought, actually, this could work out. So I suppose the question is, how well did the friend know, the girlfriend before she intrduced
And I also
to
told
Mr. X.
them both that if they were to start a relationship, I'm not getting in the middle of them, and I don't want to know. I only want to know the good stuff. I don't want to know bad stuff. They're both my friends. And I left it as I'm mutual to both of them, not one-sided, because I think that takes a valid point in a lot of friends. Yeah.
So Georgina says, I think holding back the feelings first, because people play with people's emotions. I feel that we have all been there when we put our eggs in one basket. I think wealthy or not wealthy, someone should love you for you. Mr. X seems like he made a wise move. Like Sam, he was trying to protect his feelings. Like same, he was trying to protect his feelings. I don't know if there's a typo.
I don't know what that.
I think there's a typo, but I think with the situation, as we kind of said, maybe it is about kind of not hiding emotions, but maybe Georgina's hitting the nose on the head, like holding them back, maybe just right at the beginning.
Yeah, just reserve them a little bit, because actually, we don't all feel the same. We don't. I mean, I could get upset about something that you might think is pointless, or you might get upset about something, and vice versa. Yep. I think talking is great, but just especially in the beginning, I don't think I would have ever told you certain things in the beginning. I'd have been like, no, now I can tell you everything. But that's 11 years later, I suppose it's having say that.
Yeah, I suppose it's keeping some of those feelings, and also in a way it's about keeping the other person guessing. Do they like me? And if they start to show more attachment or emotion or anything else, then it's then you can slowly start to reveal it, I suppose. Loads and loads of comments, which is great, so please keep them coming in. Andrea says, it's not about having secrets so early on, it's about being cautious. Clearly the girlfriend had secrets, and to establish what the issues were, there were other ways to obtain the truth. And you're right, I think
she might have been innocent though, so I'm not putting it on that she was doing something dodgy. She might have just been helping out a friend that she didn't feel comfortable telling him about, because that friend was going through something. Because I've done that before, and I've even done that in our marriage, where I've gone and seen someone and I've not told him exactly the ins and outs of my day. I've told him who I'm with, but I've not told him the ins and outs, because my friend needed that support and that what's the word, privacy. She didn't want me telling my husband, or she didn't want me airing her business. So that's it. You've also got to take that into consideration.
Liza says, money isn't everything. He seems a wonderful guy. Be himself, don't rush, be friends and lovers later. Totally agree, some friends may stir. And I think it's just pulling together a lot of the stuff we've already said. I think everyone will agree that it's not about the money. Yes, I know there are people out there that do search for money, but in this situation, Mr. X, you're not looking for that person who's all about the money. You want somebody who's for you. So it's about being yourself, as some people have already said, and just taking it slowly, I suppose. Just taking it day by day, week by week, conversation by conversation, or date by date with the girl, and just kind of enjoying that moment rather than kind of overthinking it and thinking too far in the future. After 1 or 2 or 3 dates, maybe.
I also think that this is always going to be a situation in the marriage or relationship that you learn, you grow, and when you grow, you might not like something else that happens, but it's how you deal with them. So it's making sure you grow together and learn together. So actually, in the beginning, you're learning about each other. So learn and grow together. And then afterwards, when you're settled, doesn't mean you're going to stay that way. You're going to have to still keep learning and growing together. Yeah,
definitely. So Gulaz said that she would actually prefer that somebody would introduce her to somebody. So again, you've got different points of view, and nobody's right or wrong here, and it's whatever you feel comfortable with. So, whether it's a confidence thing, whether it's an age thing, maybe once you get to a certain age, obviously you're not necessarily out in the clubs and the pubs, and maybe as much as when you were when you're. Yeah, and you also, again, you'd like to think if a friend was to introduce somebody, like we said before, you'd like to think that they know the person they're introducing you to, and you can kind of trust your friend. So again, that's not a bad shout.
You trust their judgment. So yeah, I mean, it works both ways. It can work either way.
Definitely. So Lucia says, sometimes people can love you, and sadly, you don't always feel the same back. Unrequited love. Very wise words. And yeah, Lucia, that's very true. And for a very young lady, you are very, very wise when it comes to this stuff. So that is the case. Sometimes it's just simply that the other person doesn't feel the same, or maybe you don't feel the same. It might be that you get with somebody and then they're moving too fast, and for you, it's like, whoa, hang on, I'm not there yet. So it is very much.
And sometimes you can feel suffocated. So when that is happening to you, and someone is too keen or they're too in your face, you can like put a wall up and say, no, I'm not doing it anymore. You're it's a bit scary. So actually, I'm protecting myself, and then you start to pull back.
Yeah, definitely. So it's taking it slowly. Again, Irene's saying just take it slowly, and I think that's what Mr. X. I think that's what everybody's trying to say is take it slowly. Don't rush. Don't get too maybe emotionally involved like from the beginning. And I think when it comes to obviously looking after your friendship more so than the girlfriend or the relationship is basically, as Andrea said earlier, friends come and go, right? So girlfriends and boyfriends come and go, and I think friendships are generally more loyal. And if anything, out of this story, I potentially urge you to see if you can salvage the friendship. Yeah. If your friendship with your friend was that good, and something that maybe you're missing, maybe that's the relationship out of this story to try and salvage, rather than the relationship with the girlfriend, and try and get back to talking terms. Maybe again, maybe owning your mistake of sharing what she shared with you in confidence. And again, maybe that's your learn that next time, whether it's a friend, even if it's not an introduction, but let's say you meet another girl and another friend's giving you a bit of feedback or telling you about the person that you're with, I think it's about just taking it on board and not necessarily kind of throwing the cat amongst the pigeons, and just kind of digesting yourself first to understand, what.
I think that, look, you can take on everyone's advice, no problem. But deep down, you've got to make sure that you're 100% certain with whatever situation you go forward with. Because, my friends could say something to me and I might disagree or agree with them. But I have to be happy with the consequences of what I do with that information. So at the end of the day, no one's saying don't listen, because, it's good to listen to different scenarios, but at the same point, they're not in your relationship. They're not with that person. So only deep down who you're with, and who that person is facing you, basically.
Yeah. So Mr. X is listening. He has actually just messaged me saying, "I'm here, George. I'm a shy guy, and I thought I would give it a go asking a friend to set me up with somebody. So that's kind of the story behind why he's, reached out to somebody.
My friend was the same. My friend was so scared. She was
well, I think you've got a new job, because Theo says, Sam, can you just screen everyone I meet, please, and tell me if it's a yes or no?
Theo, I'm there, and I'm going to plan the wedding if we go that far. So yeah, of course I will, Theo. No problem. Just hook me up.
That's it. So you've got a very own, love doctor here to screen compatibility. Right, morning to Nick out in Australia again. Happy Australia Day to you, my friend. Hope you've had a great day, probably out on the beach, enjoying it all. Good morning, listening intently. George, I think you hit it on the head. Focus on now. With Mr. X, did I hear that this has happened more than once? So yes, Nick, you did. This happened a few times. Mr. X has had one or two relationships that have lasted a few years, but the majority of them last a few months. And they seem to get to a certain point, and then it just changes, or it blows up in his face. And so, the idea of this part of the show tonight is just to kind of give Mr. X something to think about, or some thoughts to take away, which he says, I've taken everything on board. Love to you all. So he really appreciates all your comments and all your messages.
Look, here and now is really important. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, look at us now. We're in a pandemic. We didn't know this situation was going to happen. All different things get thrown in your way as a couple. So take it day by day, situation by situation, and slowly, it will work or not work. And if it doesn't work, okay, it doesn't work. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. You might be, but like his friends have said, maybe the right person hasn't come along yet. They might not have.
Yep, that's it. There we go. So Liz also says, get to know the ladies, join a group. It's difficult time at the moment, and very wise words, Lucia. And that's the thing. We do live in a world now where we do have technology. We do have social media. There are lots of, let's say, social groups and, forums and all that kind of stuff to meet people. And you can kind of choose, there are groups, Greeks in Cyprus, Greeks in Larnaca. I'm sure, there are Greeks in the UK, Greeks all over the world. There's all these kind of different groups. Obviously, I'm mentioning Greeks because Mr. X is Greek. But it could be a case of actually joining a group that you then might maybe start interacting. And, Mr. X does, again, self-admittedly say he's shy. So, again, not necessarily that present on social media and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, texting or emailing. I don't know, write letters. I honestly don't know how to date anymore. Yeah. But, I mean, try anything that you feel comfortable with. I think overall you've got to be comfortable.
Yeah. So Andrew says, I agree with the suffocating, especially if the girlfriend was in her 40s. Well, maybe she's used to her own space. And yet, that's one thing I don't actually have. I don't have the girlfriend's age. So Mr. X, again, if you're listening still, just let me know. But that could be a factor as well, But I suppose regardless of the age, if she's in her 40s and the same sort of age as Mr. X, then maybe she's used to doing things her own way, and without having to, I don't know, not ask permission, but if she wants to go out or she doesn't fancy meeting up with somebody, she doesn't have to. Maybe if she's a bit younger, maybe she's not quite there yet, and again, ready, used to just going out. So,
but you know what? Everyone, no matter the age, need their space. So he probably will need his space, and she will need her space. And it's just knowing when that person needs space. I know my husband needs football; he needs to go. Like, hurry up, open up. So that's the thing.
Well, Mr. X, there you go. You've had one invite to come and join one group on Facebook. So Helen, thank you. Greek Cypriot Crazies, come and join us. I'm part of that group as well. I share the video into the groups as well. And I know Helen and loads of the other members are very friendly, and it's really welcoming, just like Sooty FM and all the listeners that are watching in now and giving their comments. A lot of these groups are there as well to kind of help and support each other through stuff. So again, Mr. X says that actually the girlfriend was 36, so not that far off in terms of age gap, and he finds it easy talking online instead of face to face. So again, the social groups, the Facebook groups are maybe a great place to start, interacting with people on posts like publicly, and then maybe if there's somebody that you
slowly, if it's
get
the
to
right
know
person,
quite well, you can then maybe start private messaging and get to know each other through that way. So I think definitely joining a Facebook group and trying to see who's out there and interacting. And I'm not talking about the sleazy way of joining a group and then messaging every woman on there saying, "Are you single? Do you want to meet?" But Mr. X is not like that. But I'm just putting it out there for, I suppose, anyone else who's listening. But it's about building friendships and connections first, and then if you feel like there might be some kind of spark through the group or through conversations, then there's always the next step of asking to have a private chat, or if you can meet up and go for a coffee or something.
You will know from messaging when you feel comfortable and ready to meet that person or actually go on a date. You don't have to rush. There's no rushing. You don't have to rush. You can just take it as slow or as fast as you like, really, and
Definitely. So Georgina says, my husband says to Mr. X, stay single, and that way you don't get the wrinkles. So a lot of people, might actually envy your lifestyle at the moment, Mr. X, of being single.
Of not being nagged every day by
That's
the woman.
it, exactly. Moving on. I really like this one, actually. Maria says, what is meant for you won't pass you by. Yeah. Some very wise words coming out from the Bunny of this family as well tonight. So I think that's another thing. It's this whole, I suppose, idea of Mr. or Mrs. Right coming along. Personally, I don't think there is a single one person, Mr. or Mrs. Right. Everybody's got, a history. Everybody's got past. Once upon a time when you were with your partner for 3 or 4 years, you would have thought that was Mrs. Right at the time. Talking directly to Mr. X now. We've all been there. We've had somebody who we thought might be, and there are plenty of people that we all know that have been married. Maybe it's not worked out, then they've met somebody else. So personally, I don't think the idea of this whole kind of he or she's the one. Blondie's my one. I don't know. I'm thinking myself a bit of a hole here,
and then he's trying to outdo it. I agree with him, because actually, if you don't grow together, I think there's certain situations where if you're not growing together, you think that person's your one. You've got married, so they're your one, but then something else comes along and you're like, oh, hang on a minute, what happened? And that person's no longer the one. It's because they're not growing together, or they're not seeing eye to eye, or they're not dealing with their issues. But obviously, poor Mr. X, he gets to a certain point, and then he's not happy, or they're not happy. But the thing is you've just got to be happy today and then tomorrow. And if you're not happy, then you need to get out. And no one said you have to be with someone to be happy either. You could be quite happy on your own.
Cheers, Nick. Nice save. Yeah. I know what I was trying to say in my head, but as I was saying it didn't come out right. So my point is that, that the idea of one person, and for some people, literally they meet and they stay together forever, and that is brilliant, and they are the one.
But if you ask those couples, they will tell you they're not perfect. They work really hard at it. They do things that make each other happy. They've grown over the years. And they've changed together. And they do things they don't like. I don't necessarily love football every week in, week out, but I'm there on the pitch with my child. I'm there when my husband's watching it. I might be asleep on the sofa, but that works for me. You find things to keep you together, I think, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
And Mr. X, he will find someone that makes him comfortable, and it might take a year before he feels that, wow, okay, this is the one. But like we've said, they might be the one right now, but they might not be the one in 10 years' time.
If you don't grow together.
Yeah, in 10 years' time, your life might change completely.
Definitely. Right, just conscious of time, because we've got still a few more comments to get through, and we've got our listeners who are going to join us already lined up, so we hopefully go into them in the next 5 or so minutes. Maria Costa says, I prefer to be introduced to somebody too. So hard to find someone who wants the same things as me. And again, we've touched on this with previous comments. It's about the person who's introducing you to somebody, knowing the two people, and thinking, well enough to think, actually, Maria and so-and-so would get on because they've got the same sort of interests, or they've got the same kind of personality, or they've got the same kind of sense of humor, or whatever it might be, those kind of things. So
but what you want from life right now might change. So again, you've got to make sure that you're changing with the person that you're with.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, it's about, I suppose, keeping all your options open. So not, if you are looking for maybe friends to introduce you? Are you having those conversations with friends to say, look, I'm lonely, I would love to be introduced to anyone, do you know anyone? And I suppose it can be, some people might feel it embarrassing or a bit degrading maybe, but hopefully not. But at the end of the day, you've got to do what you've got to do to find true love, right? So if that means asking your friends, guys, girls, do you know anyone single that you could introduce me to that likes the same sort of things as me? And I don't think there's any shame in that, because if you've either been married and it hasn't worked out and now you're not obviously confident or comfortable or whatever, then so be it. Maybe you've never been married and you're at a point in your life actually you do want to settle down, whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50 or 60 or however old. This isn't about age at all. It's about being comfortable.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily about having a relationship. It could be that actually what you're missing is a friend that you can just chill on the sofa with and have a pizza with or something. Like, I mean, obviously we're all in lockdown, we're all struggling, but I found when I was single before that sometimes I just missed that companionship. All my friends were out with their men and I was bored at home and I just wanted to just have someone to chat to or to watch a film with so that I wasn't on my own.
Yeah. So, and again, Andrea's point now about lockdown is hard to find someone. It really is. So even Mr. X's story, they've met kind of in November, Christmas has come and gone, not allowed to mingle with people. By 9 o'clock, everyone has to be at home in Cyprus. It's difficult to meet someone, because even if you do meet someone, it's difficult to go out, especially if you're working till 8:30 like Mr. X is. You've got half an hour to finish work, go meet somebody, have a coffee or something to eat, and then you've got to be home, otherwise you get a fine. So lockdown's really hard right now. But that's where, again, we come back to the point of social media and the Facebook groups and all those kind of things, or even being introduced to somebody by a friend, over social media or, private messages, where you can kind of build that relationship over text message and over phone calls. And obviously we've got FaceTime now and all that kind of stuff. So I think now in today's, especially what we're going through now with lockdown, I think social media and just conversation, just the art of conversation through text messages, phone calls, good old fashioned chit chat on the phone.
Text messages isn't conversation. I think that I honestly, and I'm old school in this sense, I want someone to pick up the phone and we chat and we have a good discussion rather than, oh yeah, hi, you're right. You can fake whatever on text message. Yeah. You're never going to know the real person until you actually have that communication properly, pick up the phone or,
and we spoke about this on our first show about, working through lockdown. Are you hot? Do you want to turn that off? I'm sweating. We spoke about this in our first show about lockdown, homeschooling and all of that, and about, the adults having their own kind of alone time and actually picking up the phone to a friend. This kind of touch on the same subject of just pick up the phone, be introduced to somebody, but again, stay away from the WhatsApps and the text messages. Actually pick up the phone and get to know someone over the phone, because this show definitely wouldn't be as interactive or as interesting if we would just put a post up and ask people to comment, right?
We're live. If you didn't see us on screen, you didn't see our facial expressions, you didn't hear our tone of voice. Yeah. You could just hear, you just see a picture. It's not as I don't know what the word is.
So I'm going to rattle through the last few comments before we move on to the next section. Andrew says single is much happier than coupled. It can be.
It can be.
At the right stage of your life, it definitely can be, but at the same time, being in a relationship, as Blondie said, sometimes you might get lonely. So whatever works for you, whatever stage of your life you're in at the moment, but Mr. X is clearly looking for some companionship and, really, really helping. You're all helping him with all your comments. So thank you. Maria also says it's all about compromise and communication. And we're going to touch on this, I'm sure, during our next segment with our couples that are calling into the show. But we're also going to talk about it, I'm going to ask you guys and girls to share your kind of top tips around what you think works. And compromise and communication, I think that's going to come up quite a lot, because it definitely is, as we said, people change. It's about changing together. And we were all raised differently, right? So what my expectation of a certain scenario is or would be is different to what Sam's would be, because we were both raised differently. So we've got different expectations. So it's about communicating, whether how to discipline the kids or how to get them to eat food or how to get them to do their homework. We would have been raised different in that sense. So as a couple, we need to communicate and be on the same wavelength.
What works for us.
And find out what works.
I think a big key in any relationship is opening up and saying, I was wrong here, or I felt this way because of this. Not you made me feel like that. It's I felt this way because of this situation. I don't want to feel like this. I don't feel comfortable like this, and this upsets me. And did you hear all I said was I took full responsibility rather than saying, you did that to me, you've upset me, you've done this. Because when you try to bond as two different people, you have to acknowledge where you went wrong as well as where they went wrong. So Mr. X, bless him, in his friendship, if he can try and save that friendship, I would honestly pick up the phone to your friend, say, I'm truly sorry for how I acted. I thought I was doing the right thing, and go from there and see if she'll listen. And even if she doesn't listen and you don't sort the friendship out, you, Mr. X, will feel 100 times better knowing that you've said, I'm sorry, I was wrong, and I hurt our friendship.
Yeah, definitely.
I honestly do think that you will feel better yourself.
Definitely. So I've got three or four more comments to get through, and then we're going to move on to our next section. I know we could probably talk about this all night, but it's going to have the kind of theme flowing through the show. So Maria says, sometimes love happens when you least expect it. When you're not looking for it, when you're not looking for somebody, it happens. And that's true as well. So I definitely wasn't looking for love when I met Blondie.
No, me either. I went to work.
She went to work and I was working, I was DJing, and she just walked in, and I was not looking for it. I was quite happy where I was, and it happened. And then one thing led to another. So yeah, totally agree with that. You don't have to be like anything. If you force it, sometimes it doesn't happen. Andrew says, nothing wrong with introductions, and when a friend recommends, you tend to let your guard down more, but don't be fooled. Slowly, enjoy the courting. This is the fun part, and if it lasts longer, then great. And that's it, because obviously the first few weeks, months, etc., we all, got the name of the honeymoon period and all the rest of it. It's about not taking things too seriously, just getting to know each other, almost like friends in a sense of getting to know, do you have the same likes? Do you get on?
Yeah, I disagree with the whole letting your guard down. If you can, try not to let it down too much, because then you're still protecting yourself.
No, but that's what you're saying. You tend to let your guard down if you've been introduced by a friend. I trust my friend's introduction.
Of course you can trust your friend, but you can still think for yourself. That's what I'm saying. You can still, of course trust your friend, but still...
Definitely. Right, Mr. X, Nick says, focus on being yourself, living your values, don't compromise on your values. And remember, if you change yourself to appease someone or focus on hoping someone will change for you, forget it. And that's it, because if you start the relationship out being someone you're not, then you've got to keep that up. And if you don't keep that up, they'll eventually see the real you, and that might not be the person they want to be with. So it's all about being you, being open, honest, and just being yourself, and the right person will definitely come along. Right, so just a few hellos for people that are just joining in. Welcome to the show, guys and girls. Lastly, from Nick says, Mr. X, stay positive, it will happen when it happens. So thank you very much.
But also, Mr. X, if there's something that you Sorry, Mr. X, if there's something you can do on your own to make yourself happy and comfortable, I suggest to try and find something that you love for yourself, because I think you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to be happy with someone else. Try and be happy with yourself. And then when you're happy with yourself, then hopefully that person will come along and you can be happy together. But if you're lonely, then, find stuff to keep you occupied. Definitely.
Right, Andrew just saying no, do not let your guard down. So she's just confirming, don't let your guard down, and that's it. So it's just when you're introduced to somebody, just take your time, enjoy each interaction with that person, and just take it slowly. Hopefully, Mr. X, our listeners, and what we've gone through today has given you something to take away. And he's actually just messaged now saying, Sam, I will try that. So, and thanks. So, Mr. X, thank you very much for getting in touch. I just want to applaud you, because it's really brave. Obviously, we know who you are. We've obviously kept your identity anonymous for the sake of the show, but yeah, it's taken some courage for Mr. X to actually reach out to us and say, look, I'd like to discuss this on your show, or for you to discuss it on your show, and I want some help with this. So, you know, that's a really big first point, you know, the first step of actually making that, I want some help, I want some advice or some guidance, etc. So well done, thank you, and hopefully you've taken, you know, at least a few bits and pieces away from the first part of tonight's show, and hopefully you'll stick around to enjoy the next part. So thank you all very, very much for all your interaction so far and helping Mr. X out with his dilemma. We're going to move on to the next part of the show now, and we obviously going to try and put a positive spin on everything. And we've got a few couples lined up for tonight's show. Just bear me one moment. Who are going to come on screen, and they're just going to share their story shortly, you know, quick little introduction, who they are, how long they've been together, their little love story, and, you know, their kind of top tip or top tips of what they think, you know, helps make a relationship or a marriage work, stay strong, etc. I'm sure we're going to hear some recurring themes, but would like to welcome on to the show our first guest this evening, Iqbal and Mary. So welcome to the show, guys. Can you hear us nice and clear?
Yeah, hi there. We can hear you.
Hi guys. How you doing?
Yeah, great. Thank you. Lovely show, by the way.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And you know what? Thank you very much, because you guys have been tuned in right from the start. So you've been listening along to the whole first part of the show. So thank you. Any words of wisdom from yourselves to Mr. X before you talk about your little story?
I'll let Mary talk, because she's the wise one.
She's the wise one.
Go on.
I was thinking that the fact that he was so unsure what was going on, he had to talk to a friend about things and then show the girlfriend those messages. To me, it just kind of screamed out that this just wasn't the relationship for him. And actually, sometimes if that's the case, getting out earlier so you can move on quicker is the better thing.
Yeah, definitely.
My personal feeling that there was just too many red flags that it wasn't working maybe for either of them.
Excellent. Thank you.
I agree with that. The red flags were definitely there, and
yeah, definitely. So let's move on to you. Just tell us a little bit about yourselves, of your own little love story, how long you've been together, maybe how you met, and your kind of top tips for a happy marriage or happy relationship.
Well, together we've been together 14 years, 15 years. 15 years.
Wow, well done.
Yeah, I think you were there when we first met, when we first kissed properly. Yeah, you're actually there.
This is why they're also off screen, guys, because I'm sure they're going to be blushing quite a bit. So we can say what we like now, because we're not going to embarrass you because you're off screen, but we can hear you. So yeah, I think I might have been there for the first kiss, but
you were there for my birthday.
I don't know if I want to know this story.
That's not the story. It's okay.
Perfect. So 15 years together. Excellent. Yeah. And how long have you guys been married?
We celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary October just gone.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Double digits. Wow. Congrats.
So yes.
Mary's clearly a saint.
Thank you.
Hey,
I'm taking the girls' side.
Hang on a minute.
Okay, so guys, what works for you? How do you guys grow together to be together for so long? 15 years is a long time. How have you managed to grow?
And just to add to that, especially over the last, obviously, 10 months during lockdown, it's been a challenging time for everybody, including couples. What's your secret for getting through it all together?
So, from my one, because I was thinking, obviously knew what you're going to ask us, and I was thinking about that. And I think the most important thing is being aware of your own faults and your partner's faults, because actually it's really easy to live with someone that's perfect, and it's really easy for them to live with you when you're being perfect. But what's harder is the faults we all have, because none of us are perfect, although I often claim to be, but anyway, I'm getting knocked back. But, just being aware, because if you're aware of your partner's faults, because I don't know, it just somehow makes it easier to laugh it off or to talk about it and live with it. Yeah, and then if you're aware of your own faults, you can at least start to recognise them, having insight into how you behave. So I know when I'm stressed, I'm really super snappy, and I can't always fix that, but at least I can sometimes stop and think and take a deep breath before I snap. You know,
and you're acknowledging that.
That's some really good advice there, Mary.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I might write that one down.
I'm going to hit him in a minute. But
I might use that. Hang on a minute.
I'm glad that you can acknowledge that, because I mean, obviously you're.
Hey.
Actually writing it down. I'm going to hit him in a minute. But no, I agree. And Iqbal, how do you find it when she is snappy or she is stressed? What do you do to sort of ease that pressure off of her?
I run and hide. No, I'm joking. No, I try and be as supportive as I can. I know when Mary is snappy, she's, you know, it's hard. And I can be quite snappy too. I'll be honest with you, I can. But my stress reliever is playing football like George, and or going to the gym, or just getting out and going for a run, because I need that time and space. So what works for us is we do give each other time and space. I'm very lucky because I know some of my friends who don't have that time and space. They have to be at home all the time, whereas I'm allowed to go out and go for a run and play football and see my mates. It's been really difficult the last 10 months because we haven't been able to do as much as that. But yeah, we've been like going outside, going for walks. Like we just come out of isolation. I was just telling George earlier on the phone that it's been really hard the last 14 days because we've both had COVID and we've been stuck indoors. So that's been the most challenging part of our relationship during these 10 months, having COVID.
Ill and grumpy
at the same time.
And having 2 kids.
I was going to say, and having the 2 kids with you. That must be really challenging. I hate it when any of us are sick, let alone but all going down with it. So
yeah, it's the thing that was really challenging, not being able to go out the house, because we were able to go out the house, go for a walk, like, you know, spend like a good hour or 2 just going out for a walk and getting some fresh air, where we couldn't do that. You know, it was just really difficult. But yeah. But then the other, I suppose, it's that thing where we, I suppose, maybe to distract ourselves from what was going on, we were planning little projects and little DIY things, and like, so I suppose that kind of then brings you back together, that you're planning for, you know, you're making little plans together, which means you're continually communicating and working together to make something better in your life. You know, whether it be you're planning on what we might explore next when we can, or whether you're planning some DIY project at home, but you're planning together.
Yeah.
Because also, if you're isolating at home and you're sick, you kind of got nothing else going on in your life to some extent, and that means there's not a lot to talk about. So by having plans and things, at least we had something to still unite us and do things together. Yeah, and that's it. And it's sort of something that you can look forward to away from kind of the homeschool and the work and, you know, working from home and all the rest of it. It's actually all, whether it be the weekend or the evenings, whether it be your, like you said, going for walks or, you know, working on a project at home or something, you've got something to look forward to, rather than just you turn the laptop off or whatever for work or school, and then it's just like, okay, well, now what do we do? So,
but I mean, that's a key point. If you have nothing to talk about, then you're going to irritate each other more. If you have something to talk about, and you kind of engross with each other or as a family by talking.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Anything else? Any other like last words or last? Well, yeah, words of wisdom for everyone else.
No, I was. You probably might agree with me, Georgia, but you know, the missus is always right. So that's
You better agree.
I've been strangled here.
He's been well trained. I've done well.
Well, that's it. Well, yes, obviously, you know, the husband's always right, but it's, you know, it's about appreciating and just accepting, appreciating that the other person has a point of view, and if it's wrong all the time, right, Iqbal?
I agree. Yeah.
He's digging his hole big time today.
Thank you so much more.
We thank you guys, and thank you for coming on. And when you've not been feeling very well, and we hope you get better. And you know, I'm glad that you can actually now go out. So
thank you.
And here's to the next 15 years and more some on top of that. So well done, and congrats to you guys as well.
Thanks very much. Thank you. And congrats on the show.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, right. So we've got some comments coming in, and again, for those of you that are listening, let us know in the comments how long you've been together with your partner, or how long you've been married. Let's see who we've got listening tonight that's been together the longest. Who's got the longest relationship? So just going to touch on this before we move on to the next couple. We've got Lisa saying, where's the Greek music in the background? Lisa, more tonight is very much just a talk show, and especially given Facebook cutting the lives and everything else with the copyright stuff we've had issues with over the recent weeks, we're just keeping the talk show very much talking.
But Friday we will be playing music, so join us then if that's what you're after.
That's it. Nick says, run, George, run.
I think you will need to be fair.
And Maria says, Mary's trained him well, bless her. So there you go. Iqbal, Mary, Iqbal, you've been trained very well, so keep it up. Right, let's move on to our next couple. I'm going to invite, just in order of joining the waiting room. So I'm going to bring on Kat and Lev onto the show to tell us their story. So welcome to the show, Kat and Lev.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
You all right?
You hear us all right?
Yeah, are we all right, your end?
Yeah, you look all nice and snug with your blanket there, Kat.
Oh, well, our heating's playing up, so, you know.
Oh, bless you. Perfect. So I'm sure you heard some of what Iqbal and Mary went through. So just tell us a little bit about yourselves, obviously how you met, how long you've been together, how long you've been married, and what your kind of tips are to the listeners around what works for you guys.
Okay, well, how long have we been together?
8 years.
Right, yeah, that's a good start, isn't it? We've been together 8 years this year.
From experience, that's your test to make sure he knows, right? Because if he got it wrong, then he'd be in trouble later. Or did you actually forget?
I actually forgot. I'm more of the one that forgets in this relationship.
Okay, so I missed that. How long have you guys been together?
Right, 8 years, and we've been married 7 for our registry, and 6 years for our Greek wedding.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Not as long as you guys. So, you know, if anything, we should be asking you for advice.
Well, I think we're only a year or so ahead of you. So just, you know, we'll take
married longer. Yeah,
but we'll take your thoughts. We can compare notes afterwards.
It's not about us. It's about you. All right.
So what works for you guys, and also especially again over the last 10 months during lockdown, you know, it's been a difficult time for everyone. How have you guys managed to stay together and, you know, not rip each other apart?
Well, we were kind of different because both of us have been working from home, and we don't have children. We've got a fur baby, but that doesn't really count. We were in the same room whilst working, but it was very much, I would take my breaks separately from Lev, so I would still have my work schedule, as it were, separately from him. We would have a cup of tea together at some point, but it was very much sticking to our own routines as we would at work and just having a chat every now and again. But since Lev's been back in the office from, I think it was June or July or something.
Since June, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit harder on me because I've still been at home, and I think we've coped really well. We've come out of, well, we're still in lockdown, but we're coming through it stronger and closer. I thought I wanted to kill him, but we've been all right. We haven't murdered each other, so.
But then when he left you in June, I guess you're missing him, right? Because you were saying you're finding it hard. What are you finding hard with him being now back at work?
I think it was because I've been at home by myself all day, and then Lev would come home, we'd cook dinner together, have a chat, have a glass of wine or whatever together. And then an hour later, Lev would go upstairs and start studying because he's studying for his financial exam. So that has been tough. So as you know, Sam, I'd more than likely give you a call or send you a message or whatever, and that's usually because I'm by myself.
Yeah.
I think yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, go on, Lev. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's worth pointing out that we try to keep throughout our relationship this attitude towards each other that it's okay to have your own interest. It's okay to want to watch different shows, you know, again, kind of saying to add to what you, Sam, been saying. Yes, of course, you're not a big fan of football, but every now and then, I'm sure you sit down and say, look, guys, I'm doing it for you. But you don't have to watch Champions League and then Europa League and then FA Cup and all the games which are on telly. I'm sure at some point you're like, look, this is your thing. Can I do my thing? And I'm sure you guys have your own separate stuff. I think from our experience, it was surprisingly harder. It was surprisingly hard.
Anthony, you wait, mate.
I think it was surprisingly harder for people who used to do the stuff together, because that's when, after 2-3 months of being in lockdown, you think, oh my God, what else can we do? But because with us, we always had this unwritten rule, right, okay, is it all right if I do this thing? Yeah, sure, then I'll do something else. And although it sounded weird in the beginning, because, yeah, you're in the house together and you watch 2 different things, but I think it worked out really well in the end.
But then even pre-lockdown, we've had different interests. Like, you want to catch me dead at a Metallica concert.
This is what I already said. Are you listening?
No.
Exactly.
I agree with Lev. I wouldn't be seen dead at that concert either, but there you go.
Well, there you go. And again, I suppose you touched the nail on the head as well, with the fact that it's okay to have different interests, right? So whether it be sports, whether it be types of TV shows, or just watching TV in general, reading books. There are some couples where one person likes to go and read and be quiet and just chill, and the other person likes to, I don't know, go for a run or go to the gym or sit and watch football or whatever it might be. And it's actually okay to have different interests. So I've just left this comment on the screen because Anthony's a good friend of all of ours, and saying, Lev, you're a saint. So I don't know if you spotted that. I think Kat did with her outburst.
Kat's going to go for Anthony when she next goes to Cyprus, so that he'll be dealt with.
It's fine. It doesn't matter how long you know someone, or think you know someone, Anthony.
So what would you, so taking away kind of lockdown then, just away from the lockdown, just in, I suppose, in general, what would you say would be your kind of top tip, one each, on being a couple, being married, working together, just growing together? What would you say your top tip is out there for our listeners?
Well, I always remember what my mum said. I still live by it. What's mine is yours. No, wait, it's not what's mine is yours. It's what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. That's the one.
It's all right. I've got you on that one.
What's yours is mine and what's mine is mine.
There you go. And Lev, I'm guessing yours is yes, dear. That's, you just respond to that one.
I'm not sure bank account that you don't know about, so it's fine.
No, I'll give my dad's tip, and it's actually genuinely the tip he's given me. He said, never go to bed if you're still in an argument. Finish it. Reach a certain point,
I agree with that.
If you go to bed and you're still angry with each other, it will carry on for such a long time.
Yeah.
Even if you're not fully forgiving each other, at least reach a level at which you're happy with, and you can go to bed together and sleep peacefully, rather than
there's no point in losing sleep over anything.
I like that. That's a really good one. Don't go to sleep or don't go to bed angry. Even if it's not fully resolved, try and resolve it, like you say, to a degree where at least you can kind of say good night and mean it, and good night, I love you, and be civil, and then resolve it properly. But that's a great shout. So thank you very much, guys and girls. Kat and Lev, you're going to stay with us, right? You're going to join us for our Mr. and Mrs. quiz. We'll tell you all about.
We've got it all ready.
Well, so you guys get ready for that, and we'll see you in a little while. So
thanks
guys. Very much. We'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.
Bye.
Right, so just before we went to Kat and Lev, we asked you to let us know how long you've been together, and Vanna says she's been together with her partner for 25 years. So that is an extremely great amount of time. So congratulations to you guys. I've had a couple of messages through as well, and this person, where is it? 25 years. Andy and Helen celebrating 25 years in September. So a massive well done to you guys. And I'm just going to share what they messaged me about, what they think works. They're not on screen before we go on to our next couple. They said, also, teamwork really does make the dream work. We always make decisions together. So again, communication, but just making decisions, small or important, when it comes to family or whatever, making them together as a couple is their kind of top tip. So thank you, guys. Right, going to move on to our next couple. We've got 2 more couples that we're going to bring on screen with us. We're going to move over to Mr. and Mrs. Gelari. So Fodi and Irini, welcome to the show.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome to the show. Hi guys, how you doing?
We're good. We're good. How are you guys doing?
Good, very well. All sounding clear on your end? You can hear us all right?
Crystal.
Yes.
George is digging a hole, so he's doing well.
Am I? I'm making notes over here. I'm taking loads away from this show. This is great.
So am I.
That's it. We can compare notes afterwards. That's it. Right. So you've heard kind of the other couples as well before you. So just want to, if you can share a little bit about your story, how you met, how long you've been together, how long you've been married, and then your sort of top tips for not just getting through lockdown, but just for marriage in general. So over to you.
I'm going to try
the numbers.
I do the numbers, yeah. So
is that the first tip? Get permission from the wife, Fodi. There's a very
exactly. Did you see that? I had to look for permission to speak.
Well trained.
So we've been together for about 17 years.
Wow.
For 6 years, I had to write it down so I didn't get it wrong. I had to work it out backwards because otherwise I'd be here. We met at school, actually, a very, very long time ago at school.
Childhood sweethearts then.
Yes,
Yeah.
something like that.
We've been together longer than we've been apart now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Scary.
I mean, if I'd have committed murder, I'd be away from you by now.
Yeah, same.
But
I can help you there, buddy.
But look, I mean, being in a relationship for a long time, you get to learn your partner and this and the other. And communication for me is really key, and enjoying your journey together and making memories. I think that for me is the most important thing, and to be happy as a married couple, because no 2 couples are the same. Every couple argues, right? Any couple that comes and says we don't argue, it happens, right? We're human. Everyone's got their own interests, as the previous couple said. Everyone's got their own things that they want to do, and there's nothing wrong with disagreeing at times. But for me, it's being happy, enjoy your time together, treat it as an adventure, make your memories, make sure you communicate well. All too often, like, arguments can be settled / avoided by actually just being honest and communicating with each other. Be honest, just share everything together. It's an adventure, and you should be together for all of it. Just be happy, I think, and enjoy each other's company. Marry your best friend as well, because actually that makes the whole thing a lot easier, because you can actually get along easier. Stop kicking me.
So lying.
What about for you? What about for you, Irini? How
I
you
completely agree. I can't imagine having gone through all sort of my teenage years, my academic times, and my career and everything without him by my side. Having someone who supports you 100% and having fun whilst you're at it. Time flies when you're having a good time, and it feels like 17 years have just disappeared. I don't know where they're gone.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
It was funny because one of your previous guests said, one of your guests has said, agree with each other and make decisions together, this, that, the other. It happens at times when people make decisions without you and come home with a bunny rabbit and a hutch in the garden when you're not expecting to find one.
Lucky it's not a dog, shush.
Yeah.
But it is really, really fun. We work from home together, so I work on one side of the dining table, she works on the other side of the dining table.
Well, actually, it wasn't like that, because lockdown 1, Foddy was working in the garden and I was on furlough. And then lockdown 2,
she wouldn't let me in the house.
He took over the dining room and I went to work. And lockdown 3, we are now both working from the dining room. Yeah. So we've had a bit of a mixture of things. But actually, for me, lockdown has been amazing. We've spent more time together than we could have ever imagined. We've enjoyed our home, our animals, watching all our favourite box sets, catching up with friends over Zoom. Oh, we did so many virtual dinner parties and things like that.
They are terrible.
You know what? It's one in a lifetime thing. It's never going to happen again.
Eating dinner now.
Hopefully.
You're watching someone eat. I think the worst thing is, oh, okay, we're all having pizza, and you have the one person that's got a steak, and like, we said pizza. No, so much. All I wanted was everyone to have pizza. It's not that difficult. There's so many pizza places.
I feel we really embrace sort of the spirit of lockdown, and of course it's a little bit easier because we don't have kids, so the homeschooling part is redundant for us. But we do have 3 little terrors, fluff balls that run around the house. And need to be disciplined a lot, especially one of them. You know, it's been an experience that we're never ever going to share again.
Here he is. Hello.
Who's that? Stefano?
That's Stefano. Yes, Stefano 1.
I told you. I'm just trying to refrain myself as we're on. So I'm trying to behave, but yes, my husband's digging a hole right now.
I'm trying to have a bit of fun on a Tuesday night. So perfect. Well, look, we've got our next couple lined up and waiting. So just want to ask you just your one takeaway. So obviously, I don't know if you've seen some of the comments coming up on the screen. You know, Nikki said couple goals. I think Angelina's saying to the bunny rabbit, maybe to you two as well, but probably more. But yeah, couple goals. You guys are so cute. I did put them up on the screen.
Theo actually wants to know where your frame is from behind you. So
there's
some DIY stuff.
3 separate frames put together from the range.
I kind of fault the range, to be fair.
Well, there you go. Before we say goodbye, what is your one takeaway, one top tip from each of you for a long-lasting, happy relationship or marriage for our listeners out there? One from each of you.
After you.
Have fun.
Ladies first.
Yeah, have fun with each other. It just you're going to go through times in your life where you're going to have ups and downs, but if you go through them with a smile, you're going to end up happier at the end of it.
That's nice. I like that one. Thank you.
I think make time for each other. Mine's make time for each other. I think it's all too easy to be too busy for each other, and whether you've got children or you don't, but making time as a couple, and even if it's a dinner date or it's sitting down in front of the TV with a takeaway and just you two of you, and just make time for each other. I think that has been one of the best things over lockdown, is just sitting down in front of the TV. You guys know personally how busy my work days can be at times. Just sitting there watching something really stupid like 90 Day Fiancé or whatever nonsense is on TV, actually it's something to do. Just spend some time with each other and make time for each other. It's really important.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Don't go anywhere because we'll be playing the fun Mr. and Mrs. quiz very shortly, just after our next couple. So stay there. But thank you very much for coming on and sharing your topic.
Thank you.
Speak soon, guys. Take care. Bye. Okay, so we've got a couple more people that have messaged just to say how long they've been together with their partners. Just before we move on to our final couple, where is it? There we go. Helen Chrysostomos said 29 years she's been with her partner.
Wow.
So well, I think she takes the lead for the longest relationship from everyone who's listening in so far today. So if you can beat 29 years, either in a relationship or married, then get it in the comments and let's see who from everyone listening tonight has got the longest running relationship, and then we can definitely ask them for what their top tip is as well. Right, so without further ado, they've been waiting very, very patiently. It's time to bring on our fourth couple this evening. It's Mr. and Mrs. George. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
What's happening?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, beautiful. Are you okay?
You okay, princess? Dada's been messaging. Say hi to Dada.
Say hi, Pierre.
Elsa's whole family's been messaging.
Yeah, oh, sorry, Anya. Yes, sorry.
Everyone.
Why?
Her cousin. She's told the whole world that we're on it.
That's it. Good. Well, they can.
Yeah, it's Sooty FM.
Earnings tonight, yeah.
Right, there you go. Before we move on to you, Dada's got more pressing things. He says, find Dada a wife. So,
Give me a chance. Bloody minute. Siga.
So there you go. Right. So as you guys might have heard, obviously the other couple as well, just give us tell us your story. Bye. Tell us your story, how long you've been together, how you met, how long you've been married, and obviously how you're finding lockdown, how you got through that together as a couple, and then what your top tips are just in general around being happily married.
I knew how long we were together, and I know how long we were married, but I just confirmed with Els before we came on. We've been together 8 years.
It goes
I knew that.
How
That's
long
when
we
just
been
to
together?
confirm. Married 4 years this year. We've got 2 beautiful daughters. One was actually born April in the middle of, or the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
That was crazy. We actually met via Instagram.
Okay.
8 years ago. I won't go into detail.
Millennial couple.
That's it. You know what? Most people nowadays probably meet through social media and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that it's a good platform to meet on because then
I think I know you were talking about earlier regarding like getting introduced from someone you know. We both had like mutual friends, so we knew we weren't weirdos, if that makes sense.
Your friends
We knew of each other. We knew of each other.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Eight years later, we're here. We've recently sold our house. We've moved in with my mum and dad. We've been here for about 6 years. 6 years, 6 weeks. It feels like 6 years. That's been a bit mad. But no, what would you say to a happy life?
Well, I don't actually think there's actually a happily married couple out there that lives happily every single day. There can't be. I think everyone has their own issues, their ups and downs, and I think if you've got to work at it to get a happy marriage, you know.
Talking about.
well, I have to agree with
when you've got like a happy person like me, I'm always upbeat, positive. She hates it.
But that can be quite frustrating when you're actually. I don't know about you, Els, but
don't put a downer on us, Sam. Yeah.
If you're feeling a bit, I don't know, sad or a bit,
like when I had Gabriella in April, it was hard for me. I think. Also, it was hard for everyone with the lockdown, but it was hard because I couldn't have family around. Like, I think when a woman has a baby, she wants their mum there. I couldn't have anyone around. I know I had you there, but it's different having your mum around and stuff.
And then him being overly happy as he is, not that we would want to change you, Alex, because we wouldn't, but like how did you find that with him being overly happy and you were not feeling so great? How did you manage that?
I don't know. I don't really think that affected me, but I definitely went through something last year. I don't know if it's because I think the change of 2 babies from one, the lockdown, everything. I think I definitely went through something. And I don't know if you believe in the 7-year glitch. That was last year. So I believe in the 7-year glitch.
Well, COVID's quite a big glitch, right? So, you know, it tried to...
I agree.
My mother-in-law just said. He's right. That's my mother-in-law right there. She's got my back.
It helps when Alex is a saint. And, well, there you go.
What's
Alex,
your say, Maria? Your daughter's like...
This is what I get, Sam. This is what I get. No,
to be fair, she raised you the way you are. So, you know.
Yeah, so it's her fault.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
I didn't say that she'll come for me. Leave me out of this.
No, I think you just have to, honestly, I think talking to each other, you have to talk. Like I'm always talking. I'm always getting everything off my chest.
She doesn't. One good thing about her, there's never a quiet or dull moment.
But you have to listen. He's not a great listener. He'll talk over you. So he has to stop and listen and understand what I'm saying.
Don't know who that sounds like.
No, not at all. Over here.
That's me.
Yeah. And I, again, people have mentioned it in the comments before, and even when we were talking about Mr. X and his story, and you know, communication is key, right? So talking, whether it just be about, you know, how's your day, or you know, how you're feeling, or whatever. It's you know, the communication is key. If you don't talk to each other, then obviously how do you bond with each other? You know,
I feel like honestly, if you don't talk to each other, I think your relationship can just die from because you become like nothing, like brick walls, like you just.
Yeah, separate people.
Yeah, you're living in the same house, but 2 separate people.
So you have to always talk. And I think it's right. If you've got something on your mind, it's better just to let it out rather than let it eat you inside. Then it'll become something worse.
Yeah, and I think it's how you say it as well, right? So again, touching on the point that Sam made earlier about if you're upset or something, your partner's made you angry about something, rather than saying you did this and you did that and blah, blah, blah. It's actually, well, I got angry earlier because of this. And it's kind of not necessarily just pointing the finger, even though you kind of are, it's how you say it, if that makes sense. It's not quite as direct or aggressive.
It's acknowledging your own feelings. So I've learned this a lot in the past good few years. Like, don't get me wrong, before I would have been like, yeah, you did this, you did that, you've really upset me. But now, as we've grown and I've grown up and I've dealt with different scenarios and different situations, I've learned that I have to say, I feel this way. I don't care how you feel in that sense. I feel like this. And this is why I feel like this. And you have to come to a resolution together. And I don't know about you guys, but it's the same with the kids. When you discipline them, I might not like it. I'm the biggest one that says, oh, I think you're a bit hard. And then I'm a sucker. So I give in. I'm the easy parent. So you clash because you're not brought up the same. So you've got to find a way to be united, because I especially with children.
And you know what, I also think you lose yourselves a little bit. I think that's what happened to me last year. I think I lost myself to like being a mum, and like I just lost myself a bit. But and I think you have to find time for each other, especially in like date nights. I know we can't at the moment because of lockdown and stuff, but I think we definitely need to find time for each other. Otherwise the kids just literally take over, and that's it. You become a mum and dad, and that's it.
And just touching on that point, the whole date night thing, given COVID, it's really difficult. But then whether you've got kids or not, if you've got kids, they go to bed at some point. So when the kids are, down, go to bed, depending on what age they are and what time they go. But it's whether you say, right, you know what, we're going to have dinner a little bit later tonight. We'll have a kind of romantic meal at home once you put the kids to bed. Or if they, if the kids are a bit older and they go to bed a bit later, it might be say, do you know what, we're going to either watch a film together, or we're actually just going to have a glass of wine or a beer or have a drink and just have an adult conversation, almost like going to the pub, but we're going to sit in the kitchen or the living room and just have that kind of, like say, time without the kids. And obviously if you don't have kids, I suppose it's easier to make that time.
100%.
To forget, right? So I totally agree.
And I think the summer helped because we were also outside. So
we outside, going for walks and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So right now I think the weather's also like putting more pressure on couples.
And I think, I know this is going off subject, but because I think it's just a little bit harder for us at the moment because we've moved in with my in-laws. It's a little bit, I feel like your relationship kind of,
it goes on hold a little bit. You can't else.
Because naturally, there'll be things that you do at home when, obviously when it's you and your kids, but when you're living with your parents or your in-laws, whichever way around it is, again, when we first got together, we were living at my mum's, so my mum, my brother and stuff, and you can't, whether that be you wake up in the morning and you go down to the kitchen in your boxer shorts to make a cup of coffee, you can't do that, or just might feel comfortable lounging around in your dressing gown in the evening watching TV. You might not feel as comfortable doing that with the mother-in-law or the father-in-law or brother or sister-in-law, whatever the situation is. So naturally that's going to be difficult to live with other people. I
found it really hard because I didn't want to cook and stuff in my mother-in-law's house because I just felt like, one, I wasn't as good as her, and two, I just felt really out of place. And the longer we stayed, the longer it just looked like I was a lazy cow and I wasn't doing anything.
Who said that?
Mine's my father-in-law. Like, you can't cook better than him, so I can't cook because
leave it to them. But they
enjoyed not cooking. Don't get it twisted.
Guys.
Maria said, Ellen, be grateful you haven't cooked for 7 weeks.
I have been.
So enjoy. So again, I suppose there are perks of living with the in-laws because naturally they're going to do certain things that normally we cook.
Especially at this time now, like during COVID, obviously people can't even get to see their family, so we're kind of lucky we're spending it with other people, not just ourselves. But honestly, I just think communication is definitely key. Making time for each other. I think realizing you were a couple before you had kids as well. I think that is the main thing, because it is true, you do get lost with kids. And now when I get home from work, so I've been pretty lucky. I've been working throughout the whole lockdown, so we haven't been together 24/7 annoying each other, let's say. Like, I've had my time off.
You need your break. You need your moments.
So when I get home from work now, I'll sort of make the effort to go say hello to Els first rather than the girls.
I have to remind him every now and then, like, you're forgetting about me. He's going to get to that point again. But, no, I think you just have to remember.
I text him and say, I'm Cinderella. Hello, nice to meet you. And then he might come and pay me attention. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm Sam again.
Yeah, because the kids just like, again, they're not used to me at home, obviously, so much, you know, through lockdown and this and that. So, you know, the minute I turn my laptop off, and sometimes not even then, you know, I'm working during the day, but they'll just come in. If I'm not on a work call, they'll just come in and say, can you come play with us? I'm like, give me 5 minutes and I'll make some time, or not right now because I'm in the middle of something. But the kids want obviously a lot of attention because they're not used to me. So then, yeah, I get lost in, like I say, having the kids around, playing with the kids and making time, and me personally enjoying my time at home. That I wouldn't say I forget about Sam, but obviously, yeah, sometimes like I haven't seen you all day because you've been playing with Alicia, then you played with Christo, then you played a bit of PlayStation with Kai. Like, I haven't seen you. Do I get some time today?
But there's also the opposite, where he could be sitting right next to them and I'm opposite, or I'm in the kitchen, or I'm in another room, and they'll be like, Mum, can you like open my drink? And I'm like, you're right next to your mother.
So our kids know that I'm the fun parent that will get up and go and play.
Oh my God, yeah, this is what we have.
I'm the parent that, you know, if they want food.
No, you don't take the fun parent role. You don't automatically take it because you like that part. That's all it is. You're the lazy part.
Well, because obviously I go to work and Els looks after the kids, she automatically takes the discipline, the teaching, the learning, making them like potty train, making sure they eat their greens. Whereas as soon as I come home from work, I'm like, right, let's play. They've done all their learning. They've done all whatever.
That's why she looks forward to you more. So when she sees you.
As soon as Els said it, to be fair, Els just says she can't wait to go back to work. Just when she gets home, she can get that reaction that I get from Amelia when I walk in.
Yeah, but I'll challenge you on that because I'm the strict one in our house.
Yeah.
So I'm the strict one and the fun one. But Mum's the one that does everything.
I do everything.
Yeah, Cinderella. She cooks, she cleans, she irons. Don't get me wrong, and this is no like chauvinistic. I cook and I'll do all the stuff as well. Like sometimes Sam's not feeling well, I'll cook for all of us. But in general,
it's me.
I'm the disciplinarian in the house. So I will tell them off when they're being naughty or screaming and shouting when I'm on a work call, whatever it might be. But I'm also the one that will be the first one out in the garden to play with them, or out in the snow like the other day, or just pillow fight while they're getting ready for bed and they're settling down. I'll just start a pillow fight and just make them all rowdy. So I suppose there could be that kind of good cop bad cop thing, but I kind of do both.
Whereas I think we're tired we've had them throughout the day, and then we've got to do the housework and then the cooking and the cleaning and the ironing.
I ain't done no housework for 7 weeks. She hasn't ironed my shirts for 7 weeks. Bless my mum has been ironing all my shirts for 7 weeks.
I quit 7 weeks ago.
You're on break. You're on furlough, Eleanor. You're on furlough, Eleanor.
Yeah.
He irons his own t-shirts today because sometimes I
Good on you, George. Don't Sam, why did you say that?
I iron it every week.
Yeah,
why did you say that? When we eventually find our new house and move in, that's it. She'll be making me iron my own shirts every week.
So Nick's just said, one thing I'm noticing here is the resilience and positivity, even in challenging times. And I think that goes for obviously all the couples that we've had on the show. But it's about, we're all going through tough times, and we have covered this in the other shows when we've spoken specifically about lockdowns, homeschooling, well-being, all that kind of stuff. And they're all kind of feeding into each other and kind of crossing over a little bit. But it really is about positivity, and that's why kind of our slogan is, stay strong, stay safe, stay strong, stay positive. Because you've got to stay safe with what's going on. You've got to stay strong, whether you're on your own, whether you're in a family, a couple, etc. And you've got to stay positive. If you can't stay positive, then it's really it's even more difficult to get through tough times.
Yeah, I'm not really I'm more negative. It's just me, innit, really. But Alex is positive. 24/7 hours, literally. It's a positive, innit? You go. I'm like, don't you ever hit a brick wall?
Yeah, that's like him. So
what have I got to be like upset or negative or bad about? I've got a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids, roof over my head, great family, friends around me. Blessed enough to be able to plates and stuff. So
bless him.
That's it, man. There's nothing to be like. All this rubbish that's going on around there, you've got to be happy, you've got to put a smile on it. That's it. Don't get me wrong, I do have bad days.
No, you don't let it out.
Everyone has bad days.
This is for another show. He's one of the guys that just don't talk.
That one there.
That's fine.
You two should phone each other because sounds so familiar right now listening to you.
That's why me and George just get along. We just got that thing.
That's it, mate. And Australia says the message of communication, finding time for yourself, finding time for your partnership, and finding time with or for the children is important, and being in lockdown and doing that is a great effort. So again, just concurring with everything you've said and what some of the other couples have said as well. It's about doing all of that. So Alex, I think you might be in a bit of trouble here. He said Marina says you forgot having a great sister as well. Like you mentioned,
she's not making you any more cakes. She said that's it. You've upset her. You didn't mention her name, so no more cake for you.
There you go.
I've got my brother-in-law Theo. Theo did me before saying, "Give me a shout out." And Theo, this is
guys,
for you.
we've got loads of messages saying give us a shout out.
Why not?
Couldn't ask for a better brother-in-law than Theo D.
But guys, we're waiting for
and obviously Mike, Chris, mother brother-in-law Mike as well, Mikey.
Just
everyone. Helen, that's El's auntie Helen. Might as well shout out to everyone. Everyone else out there.
No, but guys, we're waiting to do Gabriella's christening, and we thought we would have had a party, but I don't know what's happening. We've booked you. We've still got you booked.
It's in the diary. One day, someday.
He's 18. It's fine. We'll figure it out.
We'll just do a party for getting back to normal.
But am I Nuna this time because Theo beat me last time? Like, what happened? Me and Theo rowing.
Theo wants to christen this one as well. So
Theo, stay away. Kidding, guys.
There you go. So
Maria, I have a great sister as well. For a bit part there because she just messaged me saying, "Why didn't you say anything about me?"
He just kind of skipped over. I wasn't going to say anything, but he just we mentioned her. He just skipped onto Theo. So I was like, okay, well, I'll leave that for you guys.
Theo's laughing over here. Look.
That's it. So Theo's laughing. Marina's laughing.
Marina cakes, wicked cakes.
That's it. So Maria, being grateful is very important, and that's it. It's about being appreciative and grateful of what you've got, you know, and what you don't have. It's either working harder to get it if it's something you can get, and if it's something you don't have and you don't need, it's just kind of letting it go. So definitely, Alex, I think Nick's hit the nail on the head. Now it's not an Oscars thanks list. So if there's anyone else, get them out now quickly. But we've got a couple more comments before we go on to the, I suppose, the final part where I suppose we're going to be put on the spot with some Mr. and Mrs. questions. But Andrew says, making time together as a couple with family and to be themselves is vital. This way you grow together and appreciate each other more without losing yourselves. So I suppose on that point, one final kind of top tip from each of you around, just again, staying positive, but what makes and what helps a really strong and healthy marriage or relationship?
Don't sleep with your back to your wife.
I do that every night. I do that every night.
Can't wait for me.
I knew you were going to say that, Joe.
He does every night.
Yeah, so does Alex.
I prefer it though, because I can snug up in my.
Yeah, go on. That's mine.
Cliche, but yeah, happy wife, happy life. I'm sure everyone said that, but but sometimes they need to be put in their place as well. So,
and I think respect. You've got to respect each other.
Respect, definitely.
Oh, respect is a big one, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
You lose. I think sometimes you lose it for each other when you argue. Sometimes I think we have lost, and then we have to remind each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes I suppose on that about argument, sometimes it's kind of realizing, is this argument even worth what we're arguing about? Because it might start from something, but then actually when it's actually, well, hang on, we've been arguing now for 1, 2, 3 hours, days, whatever it might be. And actually, you just carry on because you just you end up forgetting what you're even arguing about, but you just carrying it on. So
that's all right, Marina. You can.
I think you were only messing around.
I was only messing, but I would like some cake. Yeah, so at the christening, hook me up, send me some cake. And Theo wants to come on the show. He says,
yeah, he said to me he wants to come on the show next. He wants to
come.
Definitely. Well, listen, that kind of touches on to the next bit about if there's any topics that anyone wants to talk about. For us to bring up onto the show, if there's anything you'd like to come on, we have had guest speakers on previous shows. Obviously tonight we've had more of a listener dial in, like call in. But yeah, if there's anything you want to discuss, Theo, if there's anything on your mind you want to kind of come on and talk about and be an expert or a guest on the show, then yeah, send us a message, let us know, and we can definitely put it in. We're trying to build.
I want you to find him a wife.
Well, the way he drinks is never going to happen. Yeah, he needs to slow it down. He's so drunk by the time.
That's it.
It's right, Theo. I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to sort you out. Don't worry.
There you go. Right, well, guys, been brilliant having you on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Well done. You've been good, so good. It's been going on for so long. Sooty FM, it's amazing.
I actually need to thank you, Eleanor, and I haven't forgotten because Sooty FM, the name. Is all down to you. So,
you named me Blondie.
On our first show, maybe first or second, I'm sure it was the first show. literally within half an hour or the first hour of our first ever kind of party show, Eleanor was on there saying, "Oh, this is brilliant, Sooty FM and DJ Sooty and DJ Blondie," and both of those names have stuck. So, you know, as true friends,
I'm with you when you go into the big shows, yeah, and the big time.
That's it. Listen,
she can be your hot woman.
Listen, we're trying to organise a Sooty FM flight to Cyprus, have a Sooty FM party down the Finneguez. So,
man, that'll be amazing. We'll be there. We'll be there.
You sit next to me on the plane. Don't watch. It's fine.
That's it. Well, Theo, you're in luck because Maria suggested maybe we do a Proxenia show. You know, just maybe get singles out there, and you know, who knows? Maybe we can hook people up. But you know,
that'd be funny.
Keep the ideas coming. Thank you very much, guys, for coming on. Don't go anywhere because we're going to go to the Mr. and Mrs. show. I know you've got the little ones, but if you can stay for a little bit longer. But thank you very much for coming on to the show. So we will speak to you guys soon. Thanks very much.
See you later. Bye.
Okay, bye. Right. Theo saying great show, guys. Thank you, mate. Thank you to everyone for getting involved today. And Theo's also saying, Sam, easy, you're killing his chances by explaining
I'm going to sort you out.
Nick wants, I see a cooking show coming. So potentially get in touch, let us know, because we're not making notes right now. But yeah, it could be something we go
I'm not cooking, guys. Yeah, I cook all the time. Enough, get in.
And Neftalia says, great show, guys. Thank you. Thank you to all for tuning in. Lulu says, not Finneguez Buffer. Who knows?
Good luck, Lulu. I'm not going in those mountains.
Lulu, don't worry. We'll do a Cyprus tour. We'll go all around. Don't worry. Sooty FM is coming. We're even going to go down under to Australia. So fingers crossed we can get out of COVID and start planning a party. Okay. So on to the final part of the show. We might overrun a little bit, but we shall see. So we put it on the flyer. Some of you may have watched the TV program, the game show before, Mr. and Mrs. If you don't know how it works, basically the couple get asked a question. So, for example, who's the most miserable in the morning? Now, there's usually a screen in between the two people and they can't see each other's responses. But what we're going to do is we have these beautifully made, beautifully crafted,
there's our screen.
Yeah. So what we are going to do is we're going to turn around and with the question. So, for example, who is the most miserable in the mornings? We're going to put up a face. And then we're going to turn around and see, do we agree with each other's answers? So I think we can both agree that Blondie is the most miserable in the morning. But just to help us out with this, I'm going to invite Kat and Lev back because they've got the actual game, the board game. And what we'd like is, if there's any questions that you guys and girls like to ask, get them in the comments. So
and
along with
the
questions that Kat and Lev are going to ask us, we will ask your questions on screen. However,
keep it clean, guys, right? This is a family-based show. Keep it clean. We're just, if we don't like the questions, we will refuse to answer them. And we're allowed to do so because I made up the rules, all right?
That's it. Everyone's loving my arts and crafts today with the cards and the faces. So without further ado, let's bring Kat and Lev back on. Hi, guys. Welcome back.
Hi, guys.
Hiya.
Thank you for having us back.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
You may regret it.
Yeah, I don't know why you're asking if they're ready. It's us that's going to be kind of exposed
they're going to
here.
ask us the question.
The same rules go to you. I don't know what are in those kind of cards, but keep it clean, keep it appropriate. We have children watching.
It's fine. It's the family edition, not the explicit version.
We have got a couple of questions coming up on screen as well, but we're going to let you guys go. First question.
Okay.
We've
already answered this one for you.
Well, let's see if you.
But who uses the most beauty products?
Oh. He's trying to. That's what he uses.
Well, hang on.
We both said George.
Pamper Princess. See, I knew it. Thanks, guys.
Beauty products. So we're talking about skin creams. I don't use makeup. What are we talking about? Please
No,
clarify.
Beauty products.
All kinds of products. So creams, moisturizer, head shine. I don't know.
Head shine.
The lot. Head shine works.
Oh,
It's called shoe polish, darling. Shoe polish.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to myself here. I married a beauty therapist, so what kind of man would I be if I didn't support her and look after myself? So
Is that how you're trying to get out of it?
Hey.
Funny that, I'm a wedding day coordinator now. We've grown together. Yes.
Right, let's move
on. Okay.
Who is the most likely to embarrass themselves at the party?
Oh.
Oh, George, come on.
Really? What do? You're too shy at a party.
Oh, whatever. I do embarrass myself. Thanks.
Right. So, if it's drunk, if you're talking about drunk, then yes.
Yes, me.
If it's not drunk, then it's me.
Yeah.
Because basically, when Blondie has a few drinks, and you've seen it all on the show, you know, sometimes when she drinks on a Friday night, she goes through 2 bottles of wine, she gets a bit loud.
I can't control my mouth once I've had a drink.
Yeah.
So I voice too much that maybe I would normally keep quiet. So Andrea thinks that's funny.
So does Nikki. Andrea's talking about the fake tan. And just to clarify,
it was a one-off.
One spray tan in my life for charity, which I raised over £2,000 for. She's the spray tan expert. But right, let's move on.
Right, okay, I'll go again. Who likes chips the most?
Ooh, chips.
Okay.
I think
it's
got to be Blondie for chips because she loves a good, pan of chips and chips with everything.
But how do you eat the chips is the question. Cheesy chips, cheese and gravy, salt and vinegar, curry sauce.
So that depends on the food, right?
It depends on the food. So I do have gravy on chips once when I have fish and chips from my friend's fish and chip shop. It's the only time I will ever eat gravy with chips. It's not a normal. It's my friend's fish and chip shop, and if you try it, you know why. As for cheese, I don't think I've ever had like
cheesy chips.
Really cheesy chips. No, it's not a big thing for me. But I normally have like oregano on my chips or
salt, oregano,
and pepper, and the usual.
Right, before you carry on with the next question, I've got a couple from the listeners, so I'm going to bring them up on screen so we can answer. So Andrew says, "Who is the most loving?" What? Never. No chance.
I know.
No chance.
I always see if you're all right and see if you've got food, and I'm really caring. Piss off when you're trying to clean up.
No, never. I was raised a gentleman, and it's all about making sure the lady's okay, and
I'll tell you that next
cuddles
time
and everything else.
Cinderella.
Right. Well, Andrea, we disagree on that. So who knows? We've got another one from.
Who's the best cook, Mike?
There we go. So Mike says, "Who is the best cook?"
Oh, whatever, babe. He's only good at steak and chicken.
I'll give her that one. And to be fair,
and souvla. It depends again. If it's souvla, it's him all day long. I will do the potatoes. I'll do the githuragi. I'll do the bulguri. I'll do everything else.
Seafood tagliatelle. It's me.
Him.
So there's certain dishes that we both cook. So I will cook certain foods. She will cook certain foods. Most foods, but again, kind of going down the Greek road, she cooks all the Greek food other than souvla. So yeah, I suppose I've got to give it to you. You do cook the Greek food, so yes, I agree. Right, back to you guys. Oh, hang on, I've got one more.
There's a few more actually.
Oddy wants to know who is mostly in the right.
Oddy's just going to get. I'm going for him after the show, but
yeah.
I do agree with this one. George is mostly right. Mostly.
Right, I've got that on evidence. I'm going to record and save this video forever.
Mostly, yeah, mostly.
Right, so Andrea says apparently we're rubbish at this. We just disagree, which is...
That's the whole point, right?
Yeah. Andrea, just so you know, you too is TWO, not TOO.
Correcting the teacher.
So I'm just correcting the teacher there. We have this ongoing debate about her lack of,
This is a good one.
Right, which one? This one?
No, this one.
Okay, right. I've got one more before we come back to you guys. Penny wants to know, who is the most stubborn?
All day long.
All day long.
All day long.
That's the Greek gene.
He's just stubborn. he could be wrong, know he's wrong, and still not admit that he's wrong.
And still come out a winner.
It takes me about 2 weeks. If it's a real big subject, it takes me about 2 weeks of ignoring him for him to then say sorry and then realise, because he's so stubborn.
Right, okay, cool. Another couple from you guys. So, Kat, Liv.
Go on.
Right, who is most likely to spy on their neighbours?
Spy on the neighbours.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that.
Curtain twitching a bit there.
So, yeah, Blondie's the one who says, oh, did you see this van that just delivered something to the neighbours? Or, oh, did you see the neighbours put their bins out? Or whatever it might be. I'm always getting updates from Blondie. I might be upstairs working and she'll let me know what the neighbours are doing, which is great.
Yeah. But then I also look after their house when they're away. So I make sure that their houses are all right. So, you know, yeah, it is me.
Okay, that's fine. Who eats the most chocolate?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
That one's easy.
However, I am training at the moment. I'm only eating chocolate once a week. So it's still me, but yeah, she's the sweet girl. She likes sweets.
Yeah, I like sweets.
And I'm the chocoholic. So yeah.
Fuddy needs to send me some more sweets now after that comment.
Right.
Right. Who's most likely to scream on a roller coaster?
Well, she doesn't go on them, to be fair, but yeah, if she was, it would be her.
I'm the handbag lady. I'm the one
She's
that's
the
bag. I'll just wait here. I'm fine. Go on, go. I'm having this cigarette. Leave my. I'm the bag lady. I do not do them.
Blondie just about goes on like the teacup for the kids. Right, I've got another couple from some listeners. I'm just going to keep mixing it up. So Lucia wants to know who is the most argumentative. Right, Christoph, come here. You're going to answer this for me. Between me and Mummy, who argues the most? Which one? Pick one and put it in front of the camera.
Mummy or Papa?
Who argues the most? Mummy or Baba? Pick one and put it in front of the camera.
It's okay. You can pick
whichever one you want. Turn it around so they can see. No, this way.
This way. Yay! Crystal agrees with Mummy. It's definitely him.
So yeah, I do like an argument, to be fair. So there you go.
Oh, okay,
thanks, baby boy. Right, got one more from Liza. Says, who loves a gossip?
No.
What? Me?
I like to talk to my friends, but you love a gossip.
I like to talk to my friends about other people. Well, that's not gossip.
you love a little gossip. You're like, oh, what's going on here?
I think
both
Blondie's,
of us, I guess.
I think Blondie's trying to
agree.
save face with this. I think she's been exposed too much. That's why we're disagreeing.
No. Listen, I accept my faults.
Right, go on. Over, Kat, Liv, over to you.
Mm-hmm. Right, you already answered some questions related to this, but I'm going to say this. Who is the most useful around the house? Not who does the most, but who is the most useful?
In what sense?
In every sense.
In every sense.
It's me, guys, me. I do everything.
All right, okay. I do the DIY around the house.
So do I. I paint. I change screws. I do. Fuses.
All right, I'm giving it to you. Look, it's you. It's your face. I'll give it to you. All right, I'll give it to you.
Don't try that. I'm just as
happy wife, happy life.
All right, just to make a bit of peace, who is the best at wrapping presents?
Oh.
Yay! Yeah, we go.
All day long.
That's him.
I have to correct her present wrapping.
Oh,
We've discussed this
you.
before, and sometimes I and rewrap them just to show her how to do it. And every year it's the same. Every Christmas it's the same.
I don't bother now. I'm just like, wrap the presents.
Right, guys and girls listening, if you've got any more, we've got a couple more, but if anyone's got any more questions for the Mr. and Mrs., get them in. Over to you, Kat and Liv.
Right. Who likes to have the remote control?
Who likes to have the remote control?
Yeah. So who's the remote hogger?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's no hogger.
Who likes to have the remote control? Me or you?
Well, yeah, you.
Yeah, me or you. Yeah, because you're always saying, I don't want the controls.
I don't
here.
want it here.
Yeah, there you go.
But that's when we're watching something together. But I'm the one that watches TV more than him. So I don't know if that counts.
Daddy, 2-1 Arsenal.
Yes, 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal.
There's your update.
Get to some of these
Right.
on the comments. So this one.
Okay, we've got another one from Mike who says, "Who takes the longest in the bathroom?" Really?
Oh, come off it. Even the kids say, "Mummy beat you."
Really?
Yes.
I have no hair. How can I take longer than you in the bathroom?
If I'm washing my hair, I take longer. But otherwise, I'm quick. I can't be bothered.
She's cheating.
No,
The answer is her.
No, it's not.
She takes forever.
No, Mish.
Oh, I don't like this game anymore. Right, okay. So loads of people laughing at us as well. Andrea loves us. Thank you, Andrea. We've got one from
that one.
Body. Who is the best driver? This would be interesting. There we go.
Oh.
Even though he smashed up my car last month.
There's a funny story behind that.
No,
We'll
we're
come
not
on to
getting
it.
into that.
There you go. Andrea's asked the same question. Who's the best driver? So we've got a couple of people that wanted to know.
Yeah, it's him.
and it's me.
I hate it, to be fair. I drive because I have to.
Right. Okay. So another one from Lucia says, "Who can keep a surprise?" So that's got to be me because Blondie can't keep her mouth shut. So
it depends who it's for, but especially if it's like a present for my mum or someone, no, I can't. I have to.
So when she's bought me like special presents for birthdays or anniversaries and this and that, she'll buy it, she'll wrap it, she'll have it hidden, all the rest of it. And they might have a week to go, might have a few days to go, all that kind of stuff. And then she'll be like, "Do you want your present?" I'm like, "No, it's my birthday in like a week." "Yeah, but I can give it to you now and you can have it early." I'm like, "No, it's fine. I'll wait." And then a couple more days go by and it's just like, "You sure you don't want your present?" Like, "I'm really excited to give it to you." So, yeah, you're not very good.
I don't know what that is, but I think you need to.
So,
yeah, I'm a sucker for that. I want to see them happy quickly. So I'm like, "Oh, it's come today. Should we give it to them?"
Okay.
I got Alicia's birthday present today, and her birthday's in March, and I'm desperate. I'm like, I want to give it to her now. So I'm the sucker in that sense.
That's it. I suppose I should have said this at the start, but if there are any other couples watching in, I hope you're playing along as well and answering these questions between yourselves. But just a very quick one. We've had a message that's come up from a Laurie Adams. Please ignore it because I think it could be one of those fake scam messages saying that you've been selected to inbox that person, your Cash App now, blah, blah, blah. So please don't fall for it. We can't delete the comment here on the show. So please, if you have been mentioned or if you've been sent that message, please ignore it, delete it, don't click on it. So there's something, and that's actually just touching on that is another topic we may discuss in a future show is around sort of scams and fraud and all the rest of it, because there's loads of it going around now. So a topic that's quite close to my heart as well.
Okay, so Kat, do you want to give us another question?
Right. Who moans the most when they're ill?
Who moans the most?
Yep.
Ill.
Okay.
Yeah, me. I don't like it.
I don't do man flu. I mean, obviously, when I get ill, I just kind of die quietly on the sofa or in the bedroom.
Mish quietly. He moans. He's not as bad as me. I moan and then I cry and then I need my mummy and I'm not very good at ill. Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt, guys. Just another mention about that scam and spam message on the Facebook. So please ignore it. Do not click on the link that Laurie Adams has sent through. You haven't won any cash. You haven't won anything. So please ignore it. Don't click on it. Another one from you, Lev.
Right. Who sends the most messages through their phone?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's him. I can't be bothered
It's the
anymore.
football WhatsApp group. It's the football WhatsApp group. So to be fair.
No, to me.
Oh, hang on. To what? To each other?
Is it to each other? Yeah, no, it's him.
Yeah, it's always me. She never texts me. Ever. I know we live in the same house, but even when I'm at work, I will always text her. She'll phone every 5 minutes, but I'm the one who texts.
Yeah.
That's it. Right, got some more that are coming. I think we've touched on this one. Have we done this one? Who's better at keeping secrets?
Yeah, we did that.
We kind of touched on that with keeping surprises.
This one. Yeah.
Which one? Aha! Who holds a grudge? I'm blaming that on the Greek gene again. Yeah, once you piss me off, it takes a while for me to let it go.
Depends how serious, but normally about 2 weeks.
About right. I go into quarantine twice to get over it.
And I just have to ignore him for 2 weeks.
I think we are running out of comments, so maybe one more each from you guys, and then we're going to wrap it up. We come towards the kind of the end of the show anyway, so maybe two more.
All right, who's got the best sense of direction?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Sam Nav all day long. I'm the one that gets us places. I tell him where to go, but I'm the Sam Nav. I can go somewhere once and remember. I'm
Sam Nav.
Sam Nav.
Sam Nav, not the Sat Nav, the Sam Nav.
Sam Nav.
There you go. The fraudsters must have heard me, because we've got another one who's saying, please text this number to claim your $5,000 winning prize. Guys and girls, please ignore all these spam emails and messages and comments. Just a useful bit of information. If you ever receive text messages, Facebook messages, or emails that just either from someone you don't know or doesn't seem like it's something your friend would send you, don't click on it. Don't click on the link. So there's a bit of free advice for you there. One more from Mike, who says, who has the best sense of humor?
Oh.
I'm going with, I just think I'm a bit more positive and upbeat, and just, I just do stupid stuff all the time. This one's a bit serious most of the time.
I'm a bit more sensible.
So why are you putting your
Because I
picture
have a
up?
great sense of humour. I have a great sense of humour. When I'm actually laughing and joking, it's great. It's just when you do annoying stuff, it's not. So,
oh no!
Perfect. Well, guys and girls, we
Oh, who is the loudest? This one.
Who's the loudest?
Yeah.
Where's that one?
There.
Where?
Andrew.
Oh, who's the loudest? Well, I haven't got one for Christo. It would be him, but
Christo wins. Christo's the loudest out of everyone.
So yeah, I'm pretty loud, to be fair. I don't shut up, and my voice is pretty loud. So Sam will try and tell the kids off. They might be upstairs shouting and screaming, and she'll scream once, twice, 3 times. I'll scream once, and the whole house goes silent. So yeah, I'm definitely louder. And we've got one more from Gula. Says, who is the most caring?
Me, told you.
I'd say, so she's caring, and she cares about everyone in the world, and not that I don't, but you're
really affectionate.
I'm the affectionate one.
I'm not saying you're not affectionate, but I'm really caring, and I'm really affectionate to you. I mean, tell me what other DJ's wife will go to work with him and sit by his side and carry DJ equipment, or get up when he's been at a gig and bring the equipment in. That's a caring wife. I don't get paid to get up at 3 in the morning to come and get your DJ equipment. So that's a caring wife, right? Who learns to cook Greek food? Me. Who does all the crap for you? Me. I'm the caring one all day long.
Right, so I've got one more in the comments, and I think it's a perfect one to finish off with. So, Kat or Lev, do you have any more that you're burning to ask?
No, we're good. You
go ahead.
We're gonna say a massive thank you to you guys for coming back and taking us through the show. I think Lev just kicked the laptop over.
No, it was the cat. The cat attacked the phone.
That's right. Well, thank you very much. We're just going to wrap up the show in just a minute, but thank you very much for coming on as a couple earlier, and obviously as our quiz masters for the game show. So thanks very much. And
no worries, guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
Right. So we've got one last question from Baniko. It says, who is the best DJ, lol? So I love her.
That's the most easiest question all day long. This man, the knowledge that he has with music is unreal. I mean, you only see probably about this much of what he can do on a Friday night. And I'm not just saying that because I'm his wife and I'm the caring one. I'm saying it because He is brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant DJ, and I don't want it. I don't want to be a DJ. I love my garage sets. I love my banter and my little playing, but no, it's him all day long.
Well, thank you very much. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's got involved. Obviously, thank you to all our guests who have come on and shared their stories. Thank you to all of you who've helped out Mr. X right at the start of the show with his conundrum, with his love life. And thank you to everyone who stayed with us throughout the game show as well.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently,
I win.
Sam wins.
Yes.
I don't know who was keeping score. I think it was me, but who knows? Just a bit of fun, just to throw a little bit of fun and excitement into the show. Obviously, we know relationships and everything else, they're hard at the best times, and we obviously just wanted to do something a little bit fun. Obviously, support the community, so support Mr. X with his story and his situation. And thank you all, especially for everyone who stayed right through to the end. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's edition of the Tuesday Talk Show. I've got to say, I'm loving the Tuesday Talk Show. It's just something different from the Friday party, and it gives us a chance to kind of interact with you
a bit more and a bit more
different level, right?
Yeah, because sometimes I apologize, guys. Sometimes I see comments and I don't actually see them until well after the show. So this way, it's a bit more relaxed and a bit more where we can actually take in what people are saying, process the comments is what I'm going for.
So just to summarize, I've got a couple of messages, I've got a couple of comments that I just want to kind of read out just to kind of summarize, I suppose, the first part of the show and obviously the second part as well. So Foddy's actually messaged us saying, Mrs. is always right equals a happy marriage. So that's his top tip to take away from tonight's show. And
he's just digging himself out of that hole there, and he's going to beat him later with a spade.
That's it. I keep saying, I'm still working on that. Nick says, well done, Sam and George. Congrats on a great show. Thank you very much. Nikki is saying, thanks. This has been an amazing show. Learned a lot and laughed lots too. And that's what we tried to do. We tried to give it a little bit of fun twist. Obviously trying to give out some serious messages as well, especially for Mr. X at the start.
But like George said, we are not professionals. So whatever advice any of us have given tonight, it's just purely stuff that's worked for us. It might not necessarily work for you guys. So please always go with your gut and go with what you feel. Yep.
So Gudla says, you're both the best. Thank you very much. Thank you to Helen, who says, loves the Tuesday Talk Show as well. And Maria says, fab show. So thank you very, very much. Thanks, I'm just going to leave you all with this message that I had over the weekend from another couple that have been married 20 years. So I said to her, well, you guys must have some tips to share. So unfortunately, they were a bit too shy to come on the show tonight, but they have sent me quite a long list actually, and we've covered most of them. So I thought this would be a perfect way to round off the show and just kind of summarize, I think, what everybody said. And if there is something on there that we've missed, then we're going to cover it off now. So for those of you that have stayed right to the end, you're going to get to hear, I suppose, the full list of what experienced people think works for a happy life together. So are you ready? It's quite a long list. Support each other, have common goals, work, life, future, children, pets, etc. Still make time for each other, even with kids. So again, we've touched on that. Put the kids to bed and still make time for yourselves. Go out for a meal together, spend the day together, go shopping together, even though one always takes longer in the change room than the other. Accept that you won't always agree. Stay strong through the bad times. Help each other, see yourselves as equals, forgive, laugh together, cry together. Don't let others influence your relationship. That's a great point.
That's the biggest one, I think.
You don't have to spend every minute of the day together. It's okay to take some time apart and do your own thing. You don't have to watch the same films or programs. You don't have to like the same food. Never lose who you are. And when she asks for help and you say, what now? And she answers, no, tomorrow. Get up and do it. I think that was out to the guys. Communication, listen to each other, tell them how much they mean to you, and don't take each other for granted.
That last one, don't take each other for granted, is a big key in all relationships. You know, you should really appreciate each other, because your partner doesn't have to do anything for you at all. Yeah, they're their own person.
Yeah,
definitely.
George in Australia says 21 years for me. So George, congratulations.
Wow.
Fantastic. I think I've had 29, which was the longest relationship from listeners that we've had tuned in so far tonight. But 20 years, 20 years, 2 years, 10 years, 15 years, anything in between or anything over, you know, marriage, relationships, they're hard work. There's lots of good times, but there are the bad times. So it's everything everybody said. I'm not going to go over it all again. And I think that last message with the list kind of covers everything we've covered tonight. But it really is about just communication, respecting each other, and you know, really just appreciating what you've got with each other and growing together. So, Blondie.
Wow, look, 45.
There you go. So, Gullah says trust and honesty plays a vital role in a relationship. And that's it. It's about, you know, honesty. Honesty comes from that communication as well, right? So if you're not happy with something, or if your partner's annoyed you with something, or whatever it might be, it's about having that communication and being open enough with each other to talk about it. Maria says 17 years for us. Well done, guys. Congrats. And Mary says 45 for me, guys. 45 years. Wow. Congratulations. Absolutely fantastic. Come on, Mary, you've got to share one top tip before we go. You know, 45 years of marriage. What's your top tip?
Yeah, there must be something. I mean, that's a lifetime.
That is. Nick has just said, George, I've been in love with Liverpool FC for over 30 years.
Well,
Does
that's
that count?
a commitment. I'll take it. I think that's a commitment for you.
Oh, that's fine. Well, George, I did actually ask George if he would come on the show, but he's been flat out. So, George, no problem, mate. I appreciate you just coming in, even for a quick little hello. While you're working out. So, working out there in Australia, should I say. So, thank you very much. But, guys and girls, as we say every week on every show, thank you for your support, your ongoing support. It's been scrolling across the bottom of the screen the whole show, but please continue support. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Facebook page works for the TV broadcast, but as you've all seen tonight, we're now starting to get spam messages coming through. So it doesn't matter what we do on Facebook. They just constantly keep being something to look out for. So check out the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, especially when it comes to the music and the parties on Friday. We did our first one 3 hours non-stop on Friday, actually 3.5 hours non-stop on Friday, and we had no interruptions on YouTube. So for those of you that like to party with us on a Friday, subscribe to the YouTube channel and we'll be able to continue. We do go live on both still, so we will go live on Friday on Facebook, but we do know that the Facebook police like to cut the video after an hour or so, and therefore after that, we keep going on YouTube. So follow us on our new home, on our new YouTube channel. Mary says, thank you, communication and ibomoni.
What's that mean?
Patience. So communication and patience.
I've got patience of a saint with this one.
So there you go. Yeah, that's it. You know, and it's accepting that nobody's perfect, right? So I think Mary said it as well. As much as she says she's perfect, you know, nobody's perfect. As much as I like to think I'm perfect and Blondie likes to think she's perfect, there is nobody perfect out there. So
I'm perfect.
So we're going to leave it there. We're going to say thank you once again for all your support. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed the show. And if you've got any other topics you'd like us to talk about, please get in touch and we'll hopefully get them on the show soon. But for now, from us here at Sooty FM, from myself, DJ Sooty, and the beautiful Blondie, thank you very much. Good night. God bless.
Good night, guys.
Kalinihta.
We'll see you Friday.
Bye.
Bye.